Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to episode number 2 of season 2 of Olympus Rises. Glad you all could be here today. Wonderful to see you all. For those that may have been trying to keep up when this is being released, we took a bit of an extended break. But we're back, and that's what's most important. We got a full crew here today, as you can see, illustrated in the sidebar here. So we're really excited to go ahead and just get right into it. Make sure we can catch up with the rest of the crew and do a gratuitous recap of all of the things that happened in episode 1 of season 2 just a few weeks ago. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just turn on Discord. I've forgotten how to do this. Oh.
Hello, Jordan.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Why is Jordan so quiet?
I don't know.
But that's fine because his mic was cutting off the other day, so just turn him up.
Okay.
When was my microphone cutting off?
Divinity.
What? Why did no one tell me this?
I kind of did once or twice. When I say cut off, what I mean is on the high end, it would like spike and do that thing.
Yeah, it was certainly spiking quite a lot.
So we'll just turn you up.
Well, I haven't changed anything from that, so that's what's concerning.
Okay. I've got you at
We'll
200.
we'll let you know. It'll be easier to discuss it.
Well, no, it basically just means that it was doing it in OBS, but not in Discord.
Terribly.
Okay, well, thing. Devin, hello.
Sir. Hello.
Been a while.
It has.
Tell us about how you've been and what's been going on in your life.
Well, we had a hurricane. And other than not having power for 7 days, it wasn't terrible. So no damage. Everything is fine, and the power is back on. Well, has been for a while. So
That's pretty fortunate considering.
yeah, absolutely. I could look like the Keys, but I don't. So other than that, it's pretty much been business as usual. Planning some pretty large extracurricular activities here coming up soon. So that's occupying my time.
Like when?
Well, there's one October 11th, 10th, and 11th, which I guess really aren't extracurricular because I got accepted by OPD, Orlando Police Department.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm going to do my written exam and a physical exam on the 10th and the 11th.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is the likelihood that you pass one
Pretty,
or both of those?
pretty good.
I have to run a mile and a half in 22 minutes. I have to do.
Oh my
50
god, I can do that.
And I have to do 25 sit-ups in a minute.
You can.
It's more like an "Are you alive?" test than.
Yeah, you can walk a mile and a half in like.
Well, it does say
15
that
minutes.
you have to run it, and if you do walk, you're disqualified. So once you start running, you have to keep running. So if you can run the distance of a mile and a half, you will pass it in 22 minutes. Like it's impossible to run so slow that you can't make it in 22 minutes.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, they might as well just say you have to run it, but
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how slow.
Yeah.
Because run, you would have to run. Holy shit!
Like I
Yeah.
mean, I would probably have to run backwards, and I could probably still pass it in 22.
You would
minutes.
honestly have to like run zigzag, like try and cross the street 30 times.
Or like serpentine.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, run serpentine. I think would be the only way you would fail that.
Or do like 100 yards forward and 50 yards back, and then 100 yards forward and then 50 yards back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you could do that just to prove a point.
It'd be like, this is how stupid your test is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're like, okay, thanks for coming in. We'll keep your resume on file. Bye.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
That's cool though. Congrats.
Well, I just needed to know what you were planning because to know if you knew about the plans yet, so you don't. So it's great.
I don't. Well,
Good.
you do know that it's not this weekend, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not this weekend.
Devin, he's implying it doesn't matter what you think.
Well, no, I just knew it was this weekend, and I know now it's not this weekend.
Well, I wish that person who coordinates all of this stuff would tell the other people who are supposed to be coordinating all of this stuff, especially if potentially they had already put money down.
Well, I think things are still happening. It just may not be this weekend.
I'm going to send a text message while Will tells me how his few weeks have been.
Okay.
If you receive an angry text message for being... Yeah, Will, how's your week? How have your weeks been? It's been a while, buddy. You were trying to lurk, and we did not allow you because lurking is not something you do.
Horrible people.
No.
Boundaries.
Because we needed answers.
Yes, correct. We needed to know if Dr. Fisher was literally just going to be dead on the side of the road.
Well, I've been okay. We've had lots of family friends coming around these past few weeks.
Yeah, for the marriage announcement and ceremony, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Of your brother, or stepbrother, half brother. I don't know. Are you the bastard child? I don't think we've ever actually talked about that.
Well, it's a touchy subject for me.
Oh,
Why do you think they put me away on this island, away from everyone?
Good point. What you say is valid.
They didn't want him challenging the throne.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, Jon Snow.
Yeah, you see, it will actually come out in development that I'm actually the true king of the entire world, but
Right. Yeah, you're actually your lineage is of every king that has ever existed. It's culminated into your blood, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
every king and queen, every monarch from every country that has ever existed. It all has been narrowed into a pinpoint focus.
I have to wonder what, because doesn't that impact what your last name is, or is that just a regional thing? I guess technically that would. You would be some crazy amalgamation of.
Yeah, I would end up
Snows
having
and
the
Dans.
longest name in the world.
Yeah.
Because I would have to have everyone's last name.
I mean, we don't know that you don't, though, so...
It's true.
That is very true. See, I only have 60 last names at the moment, so...
Oh, you're still acquiring the last names. It's like a Highlander scenario where you have to go find the other purebloods and kill them and take their names.
Exactly. Why do you think I've been practicing my archry?
This is a great... This is a great time to announce the newest fantasy series on the channel. It's going to be Highlander name acquiring. That's the name of it. It's a working title, but we're going to get it done. Well, that's awesome. Anything else, Will?
I've just spent most of my time taking people around museums and things. So
like being in public?
I know, it's pretty strange, but...
That's terrible.
Would the tagline be, there can be only Will?
Yes, correct.
Instead of one.
There can be only Will.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. Megan. Are you alive? Because, you've literally not said anything.
I know, I was...
Actually, what have you been eating, I guess, is the real question.
No, I actually ate a while ago, believe it or not. So I'm not eating anything. I was just responding to some emails that are stupid, but it's fine. Hi, hello, everyone, hi. I'm fine. I'm recovered from the 24-hour stream. Maybe, question mark? I don't know.
Well, it's more than 24 hours, actually.
The 25-and-a-half-hour stream.
Handily more than 24.
Listen, we had to finish that fight, first of all. Second of all, I know that she's been recovering because she's been ignoring me for the past 3 days because I've been like, hey, you want to play Divinity for my stream time? And then I don't even get a no. I just get no response. Just like gone forever. Goodbye.
As I mentioned to you, this is the first night I've been home before 9 p.m. all week. So
Again,
just leave me alone, bro.
I don't see that this is a reason.
Listen, the thing is, me not being there allowed you to start this cool new show thing that you're doing. So it was really a blessing in disguise. So it's fine.
Meg is really the driving creative force behind this new venture
Right?
that you have.
Exactly.
You just don't appreciate it for what it is.
I think Meg just secretly hates Divinity now.
No. No, incorrect. In fact, I want to play very badly, but you know, job and work and stuff is not exactly allowing for that to happen. So yeah. Or you can also continue to go on thinking that I hate you. I mean, that's fine too.
Yes,
you do you.
I will continue to think that. But what else has been going on besides work?
I don't know, man. It's really just been work. It's consuming my life right now. There's a lot of crap going on. So yeah. I don't know. I don't really have anything else like super interesting to talk about, unfortunately, even though it's been like a month.
That's been a long time.
I haven't endured a hurricane or even watched anything really good. Actually, I haven't had time to watch a whole lot of anything. I mean, I guess the last time I actually watched anything was anime with you like a bit ago. So
yeah, we caught up on Boku.
Yeah. So and watched a crap ton more of Assassination Classroom. So yeah, I don't know. That's really it. Super boring. Sorry, guys.
Fantastic. Matt?
Also, just on another note, yes, I totally saw that Deathwish Coffee was like being recalled and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if I poisoned you all.
Is
accidentally. It was accidentally.
Is the dangerous part the fact that it will literally make your heart go into another dimension?
Apparently it might. Although it's just the nitro brew stuff. It's not their
It's
actual coffee.
Yeah, specifically the cold brew.
Yeah,
which is
and it's not even that. Yeah, but also they're saying it's not even that somebody like got hurt or whatever, like they drank and they got sick. It was just somebody who was reviewing their process said that there's like something in it that they wanted to see changed. So anyway, carry on.
Weak.
Agreed, weak. Matt, speaking of things that are not weak, hello.
What's up?
How have you been? It's been even longer since I've spoken with you.
Yeah, I legitimately don't remember how to play Stars Without Number.
Okay, good.
I'm like looking at my macros again.
It's the bad part is you're in a position where you all will need to know how to play Stars Without Number very well,
right? Isn't that just a pickle?
But what about your life outside of Loose Currents?
It's life, man.
Yeah.
There's been good and bad stuff in lab.
More good than bad?
Like acutely bad and complicating factors with competitors. But I'm almost at the point where I'm working on stuff that's like would be so genuinely novel that it wouldn't even be at risk for being scooped, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty excited about some things that I have coming down the pipeline, but you know, it's going to be a point of stress until I actually graduate
soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Good.
But yeah, the both good and one thing that is both shades of what you asked. I found these neat like photo switchable receptor ligands. So basically, you engineer a neurotransmitter or receptor to have a brand new spiffy binding site that your designer compound can attach to. You express that in neurons, and then your ligand against that is itself reactive to light. So the awesome thing with that is you just wash it in after you express these new receptors you designed, and then hit it with green and blue light to literally open and close the channel, and then control neuronal activity focally with that. It's so friggin' cool, I can't even. Anyway, so that's awesome. However, the only commercial supplier of that doesn't make the shit anymore. So I've got to like get it custom synthesized because we don't do that in-house. That's so far out of my wheelhouse that I have no concept how I would even go about making that. I don't do chemistry. I do a lot of stuff, but chemistry straight up is not my bag. Just an example. Things are complicated. It's stressful, but it's going places.
Moving forward, be it good or bad, is overall.
I believe it is moving forward in a positive sense.
Excellent. As for myself, I have been playing a lot of Divinity. But by that I mean I've played literally 25.5
You played
hours.
One stretch of you played Divinity one time.
I have turned Divinity on less than 5 times, but I have already accomplished. Actually, it's actually near 30 hours now. Because I also started something new where I wanted to, since Megan wouldn't play with me, I wanted to still play Divinity because I love and I'm obsessed with the system. And I kind of dove into their GM mode a little bit, and I'm pretty excited. I can see where I could easily make a full-on adventure to run, or at least this is going to be kind of similar yet not as smart as what Matt just said, because I'm going to talk about some like high-level concepts of adventure design here for a moment. But the way that I prepare for all of my games is suited very well to how that system is built to prepare things. So I can very easily see myself running a game in that sort of system. And once I can certainly see, once I have a better mastery of the mechanics and how to do things within the GM prep mode, it would take probably no longer than what my normal prep is. Because the way that the thing I have it to compare it to is using Roll20. As you all know, I run all of my games online, so I use Roll20, and with Roll20, I have a veritable amount of stuff to do that you would never have to do in a real life game, right? Like,
yes,
I have all these maps, and I have to prepare the dynamic lighting, and I have to prepare the tokens, and I have to put the character stats in for the tokens, and then I have to figure out the roles, and then I have to occasionally go in and edit character sheets, and like there's a lot of moving parts to running a game online. The nice thing about that, from what I've seen, is a lot of the skills that I've built up, kind of, or at least the method of thinking, right, that I do for building a game in Roll20. Like, okay, I need to have this many units. This is what they're going to be. This is what they're going to have. This is who's going to be there. This is their stats. All of that. A lot of that is very, very transferable to the GM mode. In the brief, 4-hour stream that I did already, I was able to design, and this is all using stock stuff, right? Just the stock stuff that it's provided to me. Obviously, it would get a lot better, or it would get a lot worse depending on if I needed to use something that wasn't stock. But I'm designing this kind of tavern brawl scenario where there's, you know, a couple of NPCs that are kind of scattered about, and then there's these like couple of thug like dudes, and then there's a guard that's going to be an ally type character. And the first essentially 3 hours of the stream was just me kind of just messing around, figuring it out, like laying out what I need for the story. I have a whole huge, you know, notepad file now of what I need for the story. And then the last hour of it was really just me completely feet to fire, never having touched it before ever, jumping in, and I was able to populate a dozen or so NPCs with equipment and items, populate items within the game, and put a start point for the players into what would honestly be right now. I could drop players in that scenario and just say go, and it would be ready to go. The beauty of that system is that I wouldn't have to control all those figures. I could literally just like plop it down and be like, start, okay, have fun, and go to something completely different and continue prepping while they fought. Unless I was needed to like interact or have some type of dialogue or something like that.
Right. So if somebody decides not to just kill everything in front of them but try and negotiate, then you come back.
Then I could just pop back in, pause it, and, you know, do the negotiation thing. So as far as the prep work involved in that system, it is intuitive enough that I was able to learn it, or at least pick up the basics very, very quickly. One of the coolest things too about it is the ability to just create random items, right? I can just like click a few buttons, and then I have a random item based on some like parameters that I've set.
Oh, can you imagine if somebody made like a sci-fi themed mod for this?
Dude, it's a fully Steam Workshop available, so it's going to happen. It's going to happen, I guarantee it. And especially with the popularity that the game has, it's already listed as the best-selling CRPG ever.
What?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was number 4 in most consecutive players for the first couple of days on Steam. Concurrent, that's what I meant, not consecutive.
Concurrent.
Yeah. But
whatever.
to be behind Dota 2 in amount of players actively playing the game, that's insane. It has like a 95 on Metacritic. Like it's absolutely insane. It's only going to draw very creative people to the scene, for people who have been looking for something like that, because other games have tried it, right? Like Neverwinter Nights has tried it, and
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
The
like,
D&D one has tried it, but they failed, but that was like desperately what people wanted to be good as part of that.
Oh yeah, and people still used like the original Neverwinter Nights, or maybe not the original, but like Neverwinter Nights 2. Occasionally people still,
there's still active servers on that game.
Yeah.
So a modernized, more accessible version of that. Oh, dude, I envision
one that works.
Right, exactly. I envision it being huge. Like the next the next Skyrim level of modding could go into that game pretty easily, because Larian are really cool and they're very open about like their code and stuff. Right? They're like, yeah, if you want to change that, go for it. Here it is. Make it better. Because I understand that that's the kind of stuff that drives the game further.
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's the better business model too, because like, if you know, people are going to keep buying it.
Yeah.
Somebody makes, okay, cool new sci-fi mod. Right. I'm going to buy it. I haven't bought it yet, but the moment there's something like that,
right,
I'll probably bite the bullet on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would actually compare it to like the way GTA works right now, right? Like GTA has sold so many copies of the game strictly based on their ability to be modded.
And then they took that away, and there was collective.
Right. You know, if there was proof
outrage.
that like the modding scene is good for your game, that's GTA 5 is the shining both example and burning car fire wreckage.
Yeah. example and cautionary tale.
Right, exactly. Like, give this to us and don't take it away.
Don't fuck with your player base.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, anyway. So it was a lot of fun. I'm excited. I found myself wanting to like get back on in like the wee hours of the morning and like do more stuff with it, but I'm like specifically holding back and wanting to do it like on streams and stuff. So, but I may end up doing like something else on the side, and leaving like the world building one to the streams. But it's been a lot of fun. Really excited for that, and yeah, I hope, I can only hope that there are people who are far more skilled at me in the technical side of things that are going to fill in the void of things that are missing right now. Just like art assets. Like, Larian basically has given us access to every art asset that they have in their game. Right? Like chairs and tables and stuff, but maps are like the big thing, I think. You're never, from what I've seen at least, there's not going to be a whole lot of like exploring around. Like a limitation I see already is the map that I've imported, like the tavern. It's got a front door and it's got like an upstairs door and it's got like a kitchen door, but those aren't actually real things. And in order to like make them real things, I would have to have like transition everybody over to a new scene to go see. But if somebody can make an art asset that is literally just the entire tavern, right, with upstairs and bedrooms and kitchen and like surrounding area outside, once it gets, a little more advanced beyond the here's your one room that you're in, that's going to be really cool. Really, really cool. But yeah, that's about it. About all I've been doing. Hurricane, obviously. I hope that paycheck comes on Friday. I worked for 47.5 hours on the clock over the course of
How much of that
weekend.
did you actually work?
We run 6-hour stints, so half of it, about half of it, 24 hours on the clock in the space of 48. The rest of it was either me and Double L, which is what he will now be called in any game that Will is also in. It was basically me and Double L just hanging out, watching Netflix, etc., etc.
Playing Fire Emblem.
Yeah, playing Fire Emblem. Yep. Played. I got rehooked into Fire Emblem Heroes, so the thing that happened.
I'm sorry.
I mean, to be fair, I got you hooked into it, so it's only fair that you got me rehooked into it. But yeah, that was it. Really, nothing much more to be said. Except for I really want to play Divinity Act 2.
She's just gonna ignore you.
She's just gonna ignore. Good. But
it's a tried and true tactic.
Tried and true tactic. Megan should know better. That doesn't work with me though, because I will literally just continue to say things until I am responded.
The epic 30 messages when I return.
Yeah. Did you know that there's a message limit on Discord where it just won't tell you how many more you have? It'll just say plus.
Yes, I've found that out a few times now.
I did know that. Yes.
Yeah. Good. So, does anyone remember the main talking points of last session, which happened like 3.5 weeks ago?
Holy shit!
Our ship got exploded, almost. But then retroactively took less damage.
Yeah, so that's the first thing to talk about, and we'll get into the full explanation here in a little bit. But yeah, so the ship was found by a bunch of this patrolling unit of grav tanks, which are
the giant goddamn catastrophe.
Yeah,
right.
Which are
now it's all coming back to me.
The Barba Society specialty. It's literally the special unit. If I did faction turns like you're supposed to and started outnumbered, but I don't because I rather just make everything happen instead of having to spend multiple hours rolling for things. It's like the actual unit of Barba is their grab tanks. Very, very important. Anyway, as they were approaching the Freighty McFreightface, Go-Go essentially turned it on and went to fly away, and they all took kind of pot shots as they were flying away. And I will scroll up just so everybody can remember me rolling 2 20s and a 19.
I don't want to remember.
Because you're a goddamn cheater. That's why.
Yeah, these roll 20 hacks that you can
Yeah.
install without us knowing.
It's also a great time to announce I've become one of the GMs for Roll20, so they just give me these powers that allow me to roll maximum damage. I also
Well,
don't.
that's funny because you didn't need that before.
True. I also rolled like exorbitant amounts of damage comparatively to what should have happened with 3d10. So the ship took a lot of hits. The initial ruling was incorrect. It was not a subtraction of 10. It was actually a division of 4. A quarter of the damage before armor is applied was dealt. So essentially it means that instead of being at 6 hit points, Freighty McFreightface is at 9 hit points. So there you go. You're not quite as bad.
That could be all the difference in the world for
Yes.
this.
It certainly could. It's literally could save you from that last shot in the future.
Yeah. Oh no, Gogo's gone. We already discussed this. She's gonna go get it fixed and move on to greener pasture.
Yeah. This is also a great time to say that this is actually the Go-Go show now. All of your characters die. I hope you make new ones.
I do want to know what you're gonna do.
I mean, war's bad, kids.
War's bad.
Just go like riding off into the sunset yelling, I hope you learned your lessons. And
Yeah, basically, man. Yeah.
God.
I would like to just remind everyone that I was not the one that wanted to get into a full-blown war.
We forgive you for roping us all into this, Will.
You don't need to keep making excuses, Will. It's okay.
Like, I think we'll all assume some amount of responsibility, but we're not going to hold it completely against you. Despite your
I was waiting for it. It was brewing. It was like right there.
Yeah, so some other things that happened besides the giant goddamn catastrophe at the very end of the episode is
other things happened.
Yeah, no, it was actually productive up until that point.
It sure was.
Everything shit the bed. You guys were given. You're on a mission, right, to save what is the remainder of the Forton family. From their estate and get them off planet and back to the refugee outpost over in, I think it's 0308 is the wherever Westwind is. And you were headed towards the city of Gamaz, which was described as being kind of on the front lines. It's actively being it's actively being like assailed. And of course, because information travels at the speed of ship, which is not very fast. When you all arrived, you realized that the situation was perhaps a bit more dire than you were led to believe.
Just
that the city itself was, in fact, completely taken over at this point, or with there being some remaining outskirts, some remaining holdouts within the different areas of the city itself. So after kind of buzzing the city a couple of times, you realize that there was very, very powerful anti-air defense in the form of like SAM sites that are positioned in a couple of different areas throughout the city. You weren't able to get a good lock on them because you were immediately having to like fly back into the clouds, and you also came to realize too there was some kind of jamming system that was in place that kind of prevented communications, prevented sensor readings from being very accurate.
Yep.
And so, given that, you ended up deciding to come in low, as it were. You found a couple of different areas that were suitable for landing. And upon landing at one, you did some initial scouting. You got out to kind of the higher area, higher elevation, and did some scouting. And you discovered, I think for the first time really, you discovered that the area you had landed in was Barba controlled. And you saw that there was kind of like a main checkpoint over here. And I forget, actually, no, I don't forget. Dr. Fisher was the one who was able to actually identify what part of the Barba Society was actually here. And I think that like it was one of those moments where Oscar and Fortune, you kind of looked at Dr. Fisher like, why do you know that kind of moment? But there is a very specific reason why Dr. Fisher does know these sorts of things. But you know that the 32nd Armor Division is currently, or I'm sorry, no. The 32nd Infantry Division is currently controlling the area. And they have a contingent of, grav tanks and infantry.
I know it's confusing because the armor portion just poked us in the backside.
Yeah.
So I can see how you would make that mistake.
Yes.
But...
Yeah. I believe it was actually I think it was the 5th Armor Division that is here as well. I was so worried about getting feathers and arrows for the flag so you guys could see that. But I'm pretty sure it was the 5th Armor Division. So there's actually 2 divisions. There's an Infantry Division and an Armor Division that are currently occupying the city of Gamaz. And you ran into the Armor Division, or at least a patrol of the Armor Division, that then took some pot shots at your ship, leaving. And I think that it's appropriate to see, Fortune and Dr. Fisher and Oscar, you see like the smoking trails of the ship as it flies away.
But it's still flying.
I mean, it was in the air when you last saw it.
Yeah.
Falling gracefully.
It's not Buzz. It's
yeah, and so
like 1999 for that reference.
Yeah, I looked back at the rolls that were made as well, because that seemed important to get my bearings again on what the hell was even going on in this game. And the hardened polychromic overlay, the upgrade that you had done to the ship to kind of assist in its AP or having less AP, it's been completely melted away. It needs desperate repairs, and the spike drive has been damaged. It is not broken. It's only taken one shot. So it's not broken completely, but it has been damaged, which is probably what's leaving the big trail of smoke. You're firing out of one engine at this point. And Chan is in the, probably in the engine compartment trying to do his best to do whatever he can, but we'll see what happens.
Missing an arm unbeknownst to him.
We haven't checked on him yet.
Don't give him ideas.
You pretend like I'm not malicious enough to have already had that idea.
I was gonna say, he almost just shot down our aircraft. Cutting someone's arm off is just happenstance.
It's child's play at this point. So, taking a quick snapshot of the group and what's going on, Fortune and Dr. Fisher and Oscar, you guys were kind of in the ditch, kind of along the street where you could see the ship and see this whole scene play out. So you're obscured at this time from the Armor Division, which is probably still kind of like halfway in pursuit. They're probably still firing at the ship as it's flying off, but it's too far for their weapons to be effective at this point. And then on the ship, we have Gogo and Oha and Chan and Stanley on the ship, and I think that that's probably where I want to start the image that I want to get first. Another before we do that though, I will remind you that this remember this purple line here, everyone. This purple line here is denoting this energy fence that you guys saw as you were flying through. There appears to be some sort of like somewhat mobile energy fence. It's very clearly of Tan design as well. Everything that is of Tan design is very sleek and kind of not a whole lot of hard lines or edges. Very kind of circular or smooth and shiny. Every time I describe anything Tan, just remember that there's very little squares or lines inside of their designs of anything, with the exception of their cities, obviously roads and stuff like that. So there's these pillars that kind of line this area, and they serve as an energy fence, and it appears now to be kind of the line of demarcation for the separation between Barba controlled and Tan controlled areas. So there you go.
Well, what we assume to be Barbie controlled and Tan controlled.
Correct. Yes, that is a good point. Barba and whoever is fighting them controlled.
Yeah.
So, I want to see Gogo in the cockpit of the ship. Again, we've described multiple times, Gogo, that when like you're flying yourself, there's a lot of things going on. You don't have somebody on the sensors. You don't have somebody, like manning the communications or giving damage reports. It's all kind of just popping up on your screen as you're flying. So if you could for a moment jump into character and tell us what is running through your mind at this exact moment.
If I knew Russian swear words, I would scream them at the top of my lungs.
You had like 4 weeks to prepare for this.
God damn it, Meg.
Not gonna learn Russian. But I think that Gogo's doing that thing where in like movies and stuff, it's just like you zone in on like the one thing, and in the periphery you can see like lights flashing and certain displays being come up and everything, but she's just so focused in as if that stuff isn't even there, just trying to get them up. That's like her first thought, is to just get them up and try to get themselves lost in all of the debris and broken bullshit that circles this planet, to try to assess what the fuck she just got hit with and how many times.
So you're actually going into orbit then.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Because she now doesn't have any orientation in terms of like what is actually safe and not. And until she actually has a good sense of what is wrong with her ship, she doesn't want to be anywhere near it.
Yeah. So you are feeling very sluggish. And the ship is kind of listing to one side, and you can tell that like you hit the throttle and it just doesn't kick out as much as you were hoping or expecting it to, and you begin to make your ascent, and you can feel like the gravity of the planet kind of trying to pull you back towards it, just physically in the ship, and you can hear the hull is creaking and groaning with the strain of trying to pull itself away, and all of the other shots that it's taken. We get the Star Trek like panels are exploding and like sparking in the cockpit, as Gogo's just like sweat beading down her face, like pulling up as hard as she can. Gogo, can you make me a luck save?
Great, my favoriteest things.
Bam, bam, bam.
I probably wouldn't have had you made a luck save, except for that I mentioned the fact that there are SAM sites pretty populated in this area. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I think one of them's gonna get a shot at you as you like just pull up and ascend in this moment. And let me see here. Where did I put that? This is here, where the SAM site is. That's not what we... Lasers, that's not what we want. Oh, that's a cruiser. Definitely not. Here? Okay, we're just gonna add it then. Add.
Just safe to say the ship goes down.
Oh no, I don't think it can even do enough damage. We'll see here. Because remember, these SAM sites are actually designed for atmospheric ships. They're similar to the when you guys were on that one planet, the Tech 2 planet or the Tech 3 planet where you found Bruno. Very similar to that, where they're designed for atmospheric ships. Let me see. So while I'm doing this, I think that Gogo, for obvious reasons, like kind of broken and crackling as you get higher and higher and like proceed past the jamming area. You hear Chan kind of coming through on the line, and he's like, "Go!" And you can hear like there's something going on where he is, like you can hear the sound of like maybe little micro explosions and sparks like flying everywhere. You respond to him, I assume.
Yeah, of course. Chan, what is it?
And he's like, "What's this shit? This shit." And then the transmission just like cuts off after that.
Is Oha in the cockpit with me?
No, she was probably like in her room, but she's probably like arriving at the cockpit, like dragging herself through the door at this point, right? Like, and she probably like walks over and like probably gets an Oscar seat and like buckles up, right? Because that's the only like safe place right now.
Yeah, I think without even like just like sensing that she's there, not removing her sight from her obviously current vector, I think she would like wave an arm kind of at Oha to get her attention.
Yeah.
And just be like, "Go, see what Chan needs. Get up, go. Like out of here. You're not gonna do anything here. Go see what you can do to help."
Okay, yeah, and I think she does. She sees that that's the intent and what she needs to do. I did find it actually saying that it was the what you fought there. I just clicked on that thing. So it's a smart missile. What is the AC of the ship?
I'd want to say
I think it's like 6, right?
Great.
Armor class 6. Yeah.
6.
All right.
Speed 3, which may not be 3 right now.
And your speed, you'd be moving at max speed by this point.
So 3.
Nope, it misses. So there you go. I rolled a 4. Look at that. So I think that like I think what happens is you tell Oha to leave, and she kind of like looks at you confused, like because she didn't hear that. It came only to like you, right? She's like, you know, what are you talking about? And like the missile careens past the cockpit, right? And you see it like the trail, and you see it explode kind of off to the side. And her eyes just kind of like she kind of just looks at it, and then she just like nods and like leaps over the back of the seat and slides down back towards the engineering bay to see how she can help Chan. But luckily you dodged the smart missile. Congratulations. And you proceed to kind of break through the cloud cover, and you're in like the lower atmosphere at this point. Yeah, and good call remembering, because I actually had forgotten this until you said it. But remember, this planet is a war zone, and so as you kind of breach higher and higher into the upper atmosphere, there is debris kind of scattered everywhere. And so your intent is to kind of like try and hide yourself inside of like the wreckage of some cruiser or something.
Yeah, so basically I'm trying to find like the biggest broken ship I can and try to like literally hide
Other
myself
than us.
bigger than well, we're not.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, the frigate is kind of big, to be
it's
fair.
kind of big, I guess, but and just try to like power down as much as I can to kind of give us like the lowest signature possible and just kind of drift amongst the crap.
Basically,
hopefully nobody notices me
we're gonna play
for
dead.
a bit. Yeah, basically, it's 100%
We're
what's
playing
happening.
possum.
Yeah, possum. Yep. It's actually the new name of the ship. It's Frady McPossum Face.
Hey, if it works.
We'll have to put that to a vote.
So yeah, so I think that we're gonna need a roll here of some sort. Let's see. I actually think that this is it. I mean, finding someplace isn't going to be necessarily what you were doing here. I think that finding the right place is probably what we're looking for here. So I actually think that probably a vehicle space, but with intelligence. Because you're trying to find, like, a place where you would be inconspicuous among the wreckage of a fuckload of ships, right? So I think vehicle space with intelligence is probably the role that I want here. Okay.
Ugh.
You have 8 minutes. It's up to you.
I'm totally re-rolling.
Okay. All right.
I literally rolled a 1.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you rolled.
Maybe she could do it with.
I rolled another 1. Fuck. Oh well.
Yeah, not a great roll. But an 8 is still like one up from a
is,
basic success, right?
Yeah.
Basic success is a 6.
That's a tier above not just ramming into the ship that she's trying to look inconspicuous by.
Yeah. And so you navigate, and I think that you find the wreckage of you realize quickly that you would stand out, I think, against, like, if you flew inside of, like, one of the Ton cruisers or were, like, trying to hide behind Ton wreckage, that the ship would kind of stand out a little bit. So you actually have to do some searching around, and you find what looks like the remains of it's not really designated as anybody's ship. It looks kind of thrown together in piecemeal, but you can identify it as probably a Kuchera Syndicate, like, cruiser. Something a bit larger, something like that your frigate can kind of, like, it can mag lock to the underside of it and be a little bit more hidden against the frame of the ship, and is probably, like, split in two, and the two pieces are still just kind of, like, floating together in orbit. And you can see, like, surrounding it are all of these other, like, pieces of debris and wreckage, and the bent metal pieces in the cold void of space are just kind of, like, floating, and it's all very quiet as we see the sputtering ship. You're not smoking anymore, right? Because any of the fire that's on the outside has been extinguished by being in space. But you're, like, the light of the one engine that's damaged is kind of, like, flickering, and we see you, like, just, like, proceed into the darkness of the ship, and you find, like, a decent place to kind of, like, land. I'm putting air quotes around that word. You find, like, a decent place to, like, land and, like, maglock your ship to the metal side, and you probably have, like, there's probably, like, an overhang that kind of comes out over the ship a little bit, and you're kind of, like, on the lower side and underneath, but you're hidden within the shadow. And I think that we see, like, in the cockpit now, just, like, the emergency lights are on because you begin to, like, power everything down. So it's just, like, the emergency lights, and then we can just see, like, the blinking of the of, like, all the alerts, right? Just, like, illuminating your face as they blink. What do you do once you've secured the ship?
I think Yuzi Gogo, like, lean back in her chair and, like, just close her eyes for a second and, like, take a really big, and then just immediately stand up and, like, run back to help figure out what the hell is broken.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see you, like, kind of, like, begin to walk in the darkness. Now, I think,
I mean, I'm never in the dark.
Well, yeah. So the glowing around you, which I noticed. You updated your picture actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we.
forgot about that.
Let's look.
Got
You're
a
welcome,
new
Nick.
Go-Go. Yeah, thanks.
Well,
so
yeah.
much,
She told me, she's like, this would be Go-Go. She had green hair, and I was like, it's a good thing you have a brother who knows Photoshop.
Fancy.
Yeah. So there's Go-Go's new picture. It is
We
fancy.
should
Is that
probably
bullets coming out of your hair?
credit the original artist somewhere. But yeah, all I did was like.
I mean,
crap.
literally just the color was changed on her hair, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
I
Not a big
had
deal.
nothing to do with that, really.
Are those bullets coming out of your hair?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
She also has a bullet necklace, I believe.
Yeah, I was say it kind of looks like Fortune did your hair. Yeah, this looks good right here.
Well, I mean, Go-Go
I
wasn't
might
going to do
consider
it, so.
Yeah.
We haven't ruled that out, have we?
No, not at all. I mean, it might be a place where I store ammo. She's not gonna find them.
Right, we have to get creative about carrying supplies into the field.
That'd
Yeah, I
actually
left
be
my ammo bag
genius.
on the ship.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
So as we see like the green glow of Gogo's tattoo like fading into the darkness of the ship, we zoom back in on the planet to see, I assume, what I could only assume as the look of horror on the three who are remaining on your faces.
If you could see Oscar, he'd look pretty grim.
Fortune probably, if anything, looks more determined now than he did before. Before he was kind of like relaxed, like, oh yeah, I'm back in my environment. And now it's like, fuck, I forgot how serious this shit is.
Yeah, like, oh, this is an actual war. This isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just very, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're
Just realizing how
uh,
bad everything is.
dialed in, perhaps would be the term that we'd want to use.
To just for my own, well, for everyone's clarity, right now the three of us are like hiding in a ditch.
Yeah, basically.
Having just watched the ship get blown to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's like an armada of grav tanks a couple 100 yards away from us.
Yeah, it seems like they've kind of encircled the area where the ship was. And you can see that like there's a couple that are kind of like facing outwards, and you can see like the gunners like on top, like kind of was standing guard. And I think that you can see that there is one that like is in the middle, the one that was holding like the flag, right? And there's probably a couple people that have gotten out and are like kind of walking around the area, and the others are kind of like in a ring around it, patrolling and observing outside of it. Because remember, you landed in this. There's a lot of text here, but you landed in this.
We know where we are.
In this kind of open area here. All of this area, kind of like right here, is open. And it's got this little, it's got this river that kind of runs through it, right? And you guys had landed like right in this area on the other side, and the road kind of runs north and then turns in here and goes up towards the 32nd outpost. So yeah, you guys are in a ditch that's kind of like just off on the other side of the road, but looking towards the clearing.
Yeah, just like over comms, Oscar, it's just like, fuck. Like,
overcoms, do they work?
Locally.
Yeah, so as close as the three of you are, yes. Okay. There's probably
like,
a little
Oscar
bit of
may not even know that he's saying that over open comms.
Sure. Yeah. So like imagine Fortune, it's like if you were hearing somebody a couple miles away, right? Where like it's kind of broken and staticky, but you can definitely still hear it.
Okay.
But even though you can like literally reach over and touch Oscar, because remember, Oscar, you're inside of your suit, right?
Oh yeah,
so with his faceplate down, he literally can't physically talk to you. He's got to like either use the microphone on his thing, or he's got to use comms. So
yeah, so if he's not like actively projecting voice, you wouldn't hear him speaking. But yeah, Oscar's in full party suit. So does Fisher have any immediate input on the situation? Or
I mean, so like we've heard from the two of you, perhaps Dr. Fisher, you should describe your situation currently.
This was just supposed to be a nice quick trip to the estate. This was just supposed to be a nice quick trip to the estate. This was just supposed to be a nice quick trip to
Are you
the
like
estate.
rocking back and forth and hugging your knees, or?
Yep.
Good.
I just saw our ship burst into flames, and at this point, I think we're stranded here, and we have the 30-second outpost right next to us, and I know how bad those guys can be, and
Yeah, they're bad.
this is... I just want to do science, damn it.
Yeah, I feel your pain, man. Now, yeah, out of character right here.
So Dr. Fisher looks like he's gonna need a moment, perhaps.
Yeah. Oscar doesn't make any immediate... He's not like shaking him to snap him out of it or anything. I think he's just, he's trying to get a peek at the tanks without exposing their location, and like all of the worst case scenarios that he had run through in his head, though, like prior to even stepping off the ship, are like, if there's like a mental list of options, you just see like slowly burning away like the top 10 ways that this could have gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's doing some mental calculations and getting a...
do you want to make some sort of check to like, maybe figure out the armaments or the crew or what this patrol, the capabilities of it or anything like that?
I would love to do that, but I think the primary goal, if I can justify like a tactics roll, is how do we all get away from them across what is directly in front of us?
Yeah, right, exactly. So I think that the tactics roll here obviously is moving a couple of a small group through a dangerous area.
Yeah,
seems acceptable. Sure. And I think
since tactics involves like where sources of threats could come from and assessing the immediate terrain, and
I think a tactics with wisdom here is totally appropriate.
And while he's doing that, I would like to turn back towards the area where all the infantry guys were and see if there's any movement I can see from here.
So you're not in an advantageous position, because remember, you were up on the ship last time. You were kind of like looking out that area. But you could probably see like the top of like some towers or something over here. Why don't you go ahead and make me a perception check? But you can do so with a you can do so not with advantage, but with a +2. Because of your scope and stuff like that. You can at least see things far away up close. Because that's still a pretty good ways away. I think I actually did make this somewhat to scale, so it's still like, it's a little over a mile away.
Almost 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at like the edge of the range of your weapon even, so.
Yeah.
So it's possible that given...
shit. Look at that.
Can we say that influences my assessment of the situation too?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'll give you a +1 on it, to make a 10.
Yeah, I think with Fortune scoping the place out and getting a 13, we have a pretty good...
I probably didn't need the scope, but it was there anyways.
So you can tell that the 30-second outpost has been it's not like kicked over the anthill. Also, I'm going to turn off everybody's names just because it's hard to see the map with it. It's not like the kicked over anthill, but I think that when you look up on the top of the towers and stuff, you look up on top of the towers and stuff, you can see that there are men like that are positioning, and you can see that they have spotters that are like kind of scanning the area, and you can see that there's a couple of guys with like long rifles who are also kind of like scanning the area.
Okay.
There's probably 3 towers that you can see from your vantage point. There's probably more, but they're also a couple of them are probably up on the tops of a couple of taller buildings. They're not like, you know, physically made towers as much.
Yeah, and I do remember there was one out here as well. We had said one on each end of this field.
Yes, correct. Yep.
So, all right. Well, okay. So I'd relay the information as soon as I get it. Like, hey, it seems like they're not they're not gonna come looking for us, but we probably shouldn't move towards that direction.
Yeah, Oscar says, yeah, we need to capitalize on the distraction. You know, while they're still focused on the ship, we need to get the hell out of here. Because this would be, you know, we just handled Gogo taking off and escaping, but this would be basically in the immediate aftermath as she's still kind of climbing up, right?
Yep. Yeah, oh yeah. You can probably still see the smoke trail from the ship at this point.
Yeah. So I think
I just want to make sure there's not a tower there.
No. I actually am just copying and pasting now because you made a good point that I should just see where all the towers are.
No, that's fine. You scared me when you put a tower over here.
No, it's fine. You'll be fine.
So yeah, Oscar's like at this point, you know, you relay that info, Fortune, and at this point he, you know, grabs Fisher by the shoulder, and he's actually projecting voice now, not just over comms. He says, Fisher, we have to move quickly. Can you stay low?
Yes. All right.
He
I probably
looks back to.
I could probably come over your shoulder at this point, and I say, "This is the easiest part. You need to steel yourself."
Somehow that doesn't give me confidence.
Yeah, I'm just trying to mentally prepare you for what may be coming later.
It's only
So
gonna
you
get
don't
worse.